Have you ever promised yourself, in the quiet optimism of December, I'll start saving next year? It sounds reasonable, even responsible. But that sentence, so polite, so sure, hides a decision that quietly compounds against your future. Imagine Anna. She's 28, lives in a mid-sized European city, and earns 45,000 euros a year before tax. After income tax and social contributions, she takes home about 32,000 euros, roughly 2,700 euros per month. In the US picture, imagine Mark, 30, living in a mid-sized American city, earning $65,000 before tax and taking home about $4,000 a month after taxes and healthcare. Different currencies, similar pressures. Both of them make sensible-looking choices. Anna pays 900 euros a month in rent for a one-bedroom apartment near transit. Mark pays a $1,200 mortgage payment on a modest starter home. Both have a car payment. Anna's financed compact costs 250 euros a month. Mark's small SUV is $350. Add utilities, groceries, and a student loan payment. 150 euros for Anna, $200 for Mark. Both also use credit cards regularly for convenience, ending up with minimum payments of about 75 euros and $100 respectively. Listing it out, Anna monthly take-home approximately 2,700 euros, rent 900 euros, car 250 euros, loan 150 euros, cards min 75 euros, essentials 600 euros, leftover approximately 725 euros. Mark, monthly take-home approximately $4,000, mortgage $1,200, car $350, loan $200, cards min $100, essentials $1,000, leftover approximately $1,150. Most months both cover everything. Some months they don't. But here's the comfortable lie. When pay rises or a bonus comes, they promise, "I'll save then." Or when bills feel tight, they tell themselves, "Next year I'll be more disciplined." That promise is emotionally satisfying, an escape from the discomfort of saying no now. It feels like planning, but it isn't. What's the real mistake? It's not ignorance. It's timing, psychology, and the invisible cost of delay. Let's do a simple math example. Suppose Anna delays saving for 2 years. She could have started saving 300 euros a month immediately. Over 10 years, at a modest 5% annual return compounded monthly, that 300 euros a month becomes roughly 46,000 euros. If she waits 2 years and then saves the same 300 euros a month for the remaining 8 years at the same 5% return, she ends up with about 33,400 euros. That's a loss of about 12,600 euros simply from delaying 2 years. Mark's numbers look the same in principle. If he delays saving $400 a month for 2 years, he loses the compound growth those 2 years would have earned. At 5% annual return, $400 a month for 10 years yields roughly $61,200. Starting 2 years later yields about $44,300. He's left about $16,900 poorer because of the delay. These aren't hypothetical luxuries, they're the real cost of a seemingly harmless phrase. 2 years of compound returns make a tangible difference. And as incomes rise, the same pattern repeats. Salary increases often mean lifestyle upgrades, not increased savings, so the opportunity cost keeps growing. Why do people do this? The answers are psychological more than mathematical. First, present bias. Humans weight immediate comfort far more heavily than future gains. Saying, "I'll start next year," reduces the immediate friction of sacrifice. It feels like planning without pain. Second, status signaling. In both US and European contexts, visible markers like an apartment in the right neighborhood, a newer car, better weekend plans serve social functions. They signal success to friends, family, and social media peers. The emotional payoff is immediate. The financial payoff is delayed and abstract. Third, the salary illusion. When income rises, people often choose larger visible expenses rather than locking in their future. They tell themselves they'll save after they've treated themselves to a lifestyle matching their new bracket. But that treatment becomes the new baseline, raising the floor on future savings. There's also an institutional nudge against early saving. Many employers structure raises, bonus timings, and benefit windows in ways that make it psychologically easy to spend windfalls. Credit systems, easy card limits, BNPL, buy now, pay later, attractive car finance deals convince people that delayed payments are neutral. They're not. They shift the cost into future budgets when the person is less likely to cut back. Let's look at what happens if this pattern continues untreated. Take Anna again. If she continues delaying and lets small upgrades accumulate, better coffee every day, weekend trips that increase in frequency, incremental rent increases for slightly nicer places, her leftover €725 evaporates. She moves from occasional saving to zero saving, then into reliance on credit for unexpected expenses. In 5 to 7 years, that pattern can mean being house poor, car dependent, and retirement underfunded, even with steady promotions. Over time, the numbers become less about single purchases and more about habit. Small, repeated choices set a trajectory. You don't wake up 5 years later with a single dramatic mistake. You arrive at the consequence of hundreds of quiet, reasonable decisions. Now shift perspective. How do financially intelligent people think and behave differently? Not through dramatic austerity, not by never enjoying life, and not by moralizing spending. They use one simple principle: prioritize the future by making it automatic and immediate. They change the timing of the decision. Instead of promising, "I'll start next year," they convert that promise into a current, low-friction action. If Anna and Mark had put even a small portion of income into saving automatically the month they decided to be serious, €100 or $150, those amounts would compound. More importantly, the psychological burden disappears. By paying their future selves first, they shrink present bias. The money never becomes an optional choice. Here's the quiet math of behavior change, not a gimmick. Automating €100 a month at a 5% return for 20 years becomes roughly €37,000. It's not a windfall, it's steady progress that changes outcomes without constant sacrifice. The framing matters. This is not deprivation, it's reassigning a part of your identity from aspiring consumer to future-minded professional. Another difference is the way they treat windfalls and raises. Instead of letting every raise convert automatically into lifestyle upgrades, they split it. A portion, small at first, goes to a savings vehicle that's not easy to touch. Over time, that portion grows without active willpower. They don't require heroisms, they require default rules that favor the future. Importantly, this approach doesn't turn life into a ledger of pleasures denied. It simply creates a boundary between recurrent, identity-defining spending and the small, discretionary upgrades that don't determine long-term comfort. Financial intelligence here is about permission to enjoy life responsibly, not about constant deferral of pleasure. If you're watching and thinking, "That sounds obvious," that's the point. Awareness is the first tool. The second is action that minimizes the need for repeated decisions. Choose one modest, immediate step tonight. Set up an automated transfer that feels painless. It's not a test of willpower, it's a design choice that shifts your future probabilities. To close, the phrase, "I'll start saving next year," isn't malicious. It's a psychological pattern that protects you from discomfort today while quietly costing you tomorrow. The alternative isn't grand sacrifice, it's modest, consistent actions that change the geometry of time in your finances. If this perspective was useful, consider subscribing for more clear, realistic takes on money and behavior.